water and your local home. Water, they say, is life, and every average human being is expected to drink about 15 liters of water in a day. In this present season, you are expected to drink more because you have the high temperature that drain the body fluid along the day. You have effect from the environmental effect that dries off your throat throughout the day. So you're expected to take more water. But how safe and how portable that water is, it's a matter of life and death. A lot of people within this period, you just still get your water and you drink, or probably get a glass of water, leave it on the table and drink. And after that, you start facing a running stomach, diarrhea, and all that. It's not actually because your system is bad, but because the process of you consuming that water would have brought something dangerous to you. So we're going to be looking at those basic things we need to do to get our water clean. First of all, let's look at the source of getting water in this modern day. It says spring water is the best water. The spring water is the best water that every man should consume. But how available is the spring water to you? We know definitely it's not available at all times. The second source of getting water is the tap water. The tap water is that water which is the drillers will drill and pipe up the water and bring it from the in-depth of water level and bring it up for you to run in your houses. So you can have that water within your house and you drink constantly. Another source of water is the well that are dug within your community. I don't know how soon have anybody seen the well. The normal well is just like this, where it's dug in a circular shape and the water, it gets to the water level and water is stored. It's another source of drinking water. Then you also have the rain as a source of drinking water. Most of us know today that rain is no longer common. I have personally not seen rain in the year 2022. 32 days counts down. I've not seen rain. So if you rely on rainwater, probably by now you would have not drank a single water all this while. And we also have the river water that is the source of drinking water. Actually, that is classified as the most dangerous water that you can consume as an individual. Now, having looked at all these source of water, we need to look at the common one that is within the reach of the average Nigerian. And that is either the tap water or the well water or the river, water from the stream. These are the basic three types of water that you usually see around the average Nigerian. Let's look at the tap water. How many Nigerians have borehole? Average Nigerians have borehole within their compound or within their reach. The effect is if you have to travel 500 meters to get a tap water to bring to your house, how convenient, how protective is that water between the source and when you get it to your house and the time of consuming the water. There could also be bacteria that might have been contaminating that water within the process. There are also some sorts of borehole that you have to pump to the tank. And some people, I've seen somebody for 3 years, they've not washed the tank. And the tank over time have built mucus and built waterborne worms within the tank. And yet people fetch such water and they drink, most especially those commercial water points where people have to go and buy water with the jerry cans and take to their home. So when you drink such water, you could get yourself affected. If you are reliable, you rely on water from the well, for example, naturally the well takes a lot of things. It means when the wind blow off dirt from point A to point B, it could carry dirt from the dump site and drop it inside the well, and you go there to fetch the water. And when you drink that water, you are already being exposed to cholera and other waterborne disease. Now, if you have to rely on that water, there's need for you to have it at the back of your mind that there might be problem within you. Don't say that we used to drink the well water and nothing happened. This period is actually a risky period for you to just drink a well water. Do you get water from the river or the stream because you live in a rural community? Yes, the water is a moving stream of water from a distance that you don't know. Do you know how many persons that have defecated in that river? Do you know how many persons that have urinated in that river? Do you also know how many persons that have bathed in that river? Or probably spill, petroleum spill and other spill. Even human remains, animal remains that have died in the river that brought the water to you. Now, if you rely on that water, you need to pay attention to look at the steps to be able to have produce your drinking water. So we will start by this. Your first way to get a drinkable water is by boiling. Have you ever heard of boiling water? It means you put the water, you get the water from the water source and put it in a pot between 3 and 5 minutes. What it does is that when the water is in the pot and there's heat emission on that water, it kills off all the bacteria in the water, just like you see on the screen. Whatever bacteria that sits in that water, the heat that you immerse on that water for a period of 5 minutes kill the entire bacteria from the water, and they remain dead, and now the water is almost safe for you to consume. If you're able to boil your water effectively, then you are sure that you are like 60% or 70% almost staying away from waterborne disease. However, after boiling your water, you need to filter the water. What do we say, filtration of water? It means that when you boil the water, you get a filtering cloth. For those women who does PAP, for nursing mothers, you should have a filtering net cloth, which is usually clean. You just put it around something that you're going to store the water and pour the boiled water into it. If you use a white filtering cloth to filter a boiled water, at the end of the filtering, you will discover that there are particles that are in it. Though those particles are dead, but it is dangerous for them to go into your system because it's not part of your normal nourishing meal that you are supposed to consume. So that's why you need to filter them. So if you put your filtering net like this on the can or your saving can, the boiled water, you pour it into it and it will save up all the germs, and you will see it naturally, all the particles, all the germs that have died from the water. So we recommend that you boil your water regularly before you drink. If you don't have the ability to boil your water, definitely the economy is hard. So people will tell you, I don't have money to buy kerosene or to buy gas to waste in boiling water. But I tell you the truth, if you have a bowl of 70 liters big pot that they use to cook party food, and you put it in the fire, the gas you will spend to boil such water that would carry your family for almost a week will be less than 200 naira gas. Instead of spending 5,000 in the hospital trying to cure waterborne infection, why don't you spend such money trying to purify your water? However, you know we always have another way. Probably if you don't have the money to fuel your gas or buy wood, you can also get the jerry can of water, put the water in a jerry can and close it and expose it to the sun ray for about 10 hours. A jerry can like the one you see now, expose it to the sun ray. It means putting it outside where the sun is going to hit the jerry can. By the time the sun hits the jerry can, it generates an high temperature that kills off all the bacteria that are inside the water. It means that if you attempt to drink the water under that hot sun, you discover that the water is just like the one you want to use for your tea, that you want to use to make your tea. With such a temperature, all the bacteria will be killed almost immediately inside the jerry can. However, it's still not recommended that you drink those bacteria that have been killed. Once you put it for about 10 hours outside, all you need to do is to transfer it to a new jerry can and filter it. When you filter it, you will see all the particles that have died within that water from inside that jerry can. Wash the jerry can and freeze the nest so that you use to purify it. That one, you don't need any money. It's a natural thing that God has given to you, that you use the sun ray to purify your water. I believe these 2 points are very okay for the ordinary average Nigerian citizen. Do you think because you live in Asaba or you live in a big city, you are not exposed to waterborne disease within this period? It's a pure lie. So if you want to go a further step to reduce emission of heat in your house, or maybe you don't have the patience to put water under the sun for that long, the 2 different type of things that you can use to purify your water, they call them iodine tab or chlorine tab. Iodine tab is a water tab or that can be dissolved that you get and you put inside your water. It's recommended that if you're using iodine to purify your water, you should use about 10 grams of iodine into your full 10 liters of water. It means that you're going to drop that iodine. You either take it by the measurement straw, which comes with it, or you get the normal medicine cup that your kids use to measure and pour it into the 10 liters of water and cover it for a period of 2-3 hours. You discover that it's going to settle and eliminate the entire bacteria within the water. And when it eliminates it, you filter the water and it's good for you to drink. When you drink good drinkable water, you discover that you stay safe from infection, you stay safe from sickness. If you're not using an iodine tab, because a lot of people are usually scared of the word iodine and all that, you could also use what we call the chlorine tab or the aqua tab. The chlorine tab comes in different sizes. So when you are buying a chlorine tab, you're going to see the specification of the chlorine tab. Some people will use what they call water treatment jar that comes in a liquid form. You see the prescription that is there because it's manufactured by different companies. So they tell you how it's produced. It's either produced in 5 grams, produced in 10 grams, and so on and so forth. So each production tells you an alternative quantity of water that you use. What do you do with this tab? You just put it in the water, cover the water for a period of 1 hour, come back, filter the water, and you're good to go. With this, you'll be able to have good drinking water in your house. Are you a community leader and you probably live within the riverine area and the only source of water is the one from the ground, probably from an area that has a very high iron content in your community water? You might need to create what we call the local water filtration system by using the sand and charcoal method. This is a bit of an advanced method for you to protect your entire community to getting a good drinking water. Using the sand and charcoal method, putting it in the tank that receives the water directly from the ground, filter it into a safer tank. It filters it into a safer tank, and that safer tank is a good way for you to go. Please note that drinking good water, drinking a purified water, goes a long way in keeping our society safe and healthy. If you don't drink a good potable water, you stand the risk of getting affected to different type of infection that may cause either you or your children's life, or probably bring you to an economic downturn. What do we call an economic downturn? It means Instead of you spending less in preparing a good drinkable water, you spend more in going to the hospital for pharmaceutical products and seeing the doctor, paying for consultancy. And this is actually not a wise way of investing.
Oh, wow. You know, there's popular saying that dirty know the